Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Sunday. Here with the NFL fantasy starts and sits for today. I'll be going over any kind of starts and sit advice, players to start for each matchup, and maybe players I'm iffy on. And we're going to be covering every matchup here. Going to try and run through them. So we're going to hop into it. Covering every matchup. Go ahead and like and subscribe, guys. Support the channel. You guys know what to do. First matchup, we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Tennessee Titans. On the Arizona side, keep it simple. I mean, you're starting Kyler Murray. You're starting D-Hop. Maybe at a flex spot, you're probably starting Chase Edmonds, maybe as a running back too. Although we don't know his role with James Conner there. I don't think you can start James Conner. I really don't. I think you can only start Chase Edmonds at a flex, D-Hop, and Kyler. Maybe if you're in a deeper league, you can start A.J. Green, but I would wait after week 1 to see how involved A.J. Green is and what he looks like. A.J. Green, maybe unless you're in a 20-team league, A.J. Green starting for you, but I would stay with those 3 people. On the Titans side, you're starting Tannehill. Tannehill should have a great game against this defense. You're starting Derrick Henry. He should be able to run all over this Arizona team. And, you're going to start A.J. Brown and Julio. Maybe take a flyer on Ferkser. If you're up for something crazy like that. But I'm not sure I'm going to be taking Ferkser. Going to stick with the main 4 for the Titans. And I'd stay away from both defenses. I really... should be a lot of points put up here, so those are the players I'm going to start for that matchup. All right, next matchup, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Not many people you're starting in this game. Kind of a game to stay away from. Trevor Lawrence is an intriguing matchup against Houston, but I feel like Trevor Lawrence isn't your starting quarterback in most leagues, unless you're in a very deep league. Only person on this side of the ball I'm interested in is probably James Robinson and Marvin Jones. We don't know DJ Chark, what he's going to do. He's been hurt. Laviska Shenault could be an interesting flex play. I just don't know with this offense. James Robinson's probably my safest play for the Jags. He's going to get the touches. For Houston, I don't think you can start anybody for Houston. I mean, there's no running back you can start. Maybe you start Brandon Cooks, but the pass volume is just not going to be there with Tyrod Taylor starting. Stay away from this matchup. There's just not much fantasy options here. James Robinson's the only one I'd be interested in, and that's about it. Next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Washington football team. A lot of options on both sides of the ball here for the Chargers. You drafted Herbert early. You're starting Herbert, but it is going to be a tough Washington football team. But I feel like Herbert's still going to have a fine game. He's going to have to throw it against this defensive front. We're going to see Eckler's status. I know Eckler says he's going to play, but he had that, hamstring scare. You drafted Eckler early. You're hoping Eckler's playing. If there's anything crazy that happens, Justin Jackson could be a nice stream. You're starting Keenan Allen locked and loaded. That's really about it. Maybe you take a chance on Jared Cook or Donnell Parham at tight end, but really only if you're desperate at the tight end position. But that's pretty much it for maybe Mike Williams if you're desperate, but I'd stay away. For Washington, I like Fitzpatrick. He's going to have to throw the ball a lot. You're going to start Antonio Gibson for sure. Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas. That's really it. I wouldn't start anyone else on here. Maybe Washington defense. They might be able to come up with a few sacks, but I know the Chargers are going to be able to score on that defense for sure. But that's pretty much it. You're going with the locked and loaded guys, and there's no real questions on this game here. Next matchup, we have the Minnesota Vikings versus Cincinnati Bengals. On the Vikings side, beautiful matchup all across the board for the Vikings. You're going to start Kirk Cousins, should have a great game. All the pass catchers, you're going to start Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. If you're desperate, Tyler Conklin, very interesting tight end here with Irv Smith Jr. out. Maybe Conklin can sneak in the end zone, get 2 for 20 and a touchdown. That'd be a pretty productive day on his end. Bengals, we're going to see here. I mean, you're probably not starting Joe Burrow, But the pass options, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Boyd's probably my favorite on here. I think he's going to get the most targets. Should have a solid locked and loaded production here and stat line. T. Higgins, you're probably going to start T. Higgins. I don't know about Jamar Chase. That's probably the one I'm staying away from. You're going to start Joe Mixon. You don't love the matchup, but Joe Mixon healthy, going to get a lot of work. But don't start either defense here. Maybe, actually, start Vikings. Vikings D should be pretty solid. They're going to be able to get some sacks, maybe a pick. But, love all the main options in this matchup. Next matchup, we have the New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers. On the Jets side, I'm staying away from everybody. The only person that's worth an actual play is going to be Corey Davis. I feel like he's going to get a lot of volume, a lot of targets in this Jets offense. No running presence, no other tight end, wide receiver threats. Corey Davis is the only one that's actually worth playing on this team. For the Panthers, a lot of options here. You're getting Christian McCaffrey locked and loaded, ready to go, fully healthy. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. Terrace Marshall could be... I would wait on Terrace Marshall. I wouldn't start on week 1. You just don't know what he's going to do. Maybe Sam Darnold's worth a stream if you're desperate at quarterback. I feel like he could have a pretty solid game against this bad Jets defense. And that's pretty much where I'm going to stay here. No other options I'm playing for the Panthers. Next matchup, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Falcons. Some pretty decent options on both sides here. Jalen Hurts, should be able to run and throw on this Atlanta D. I love Jalen Hurts. Miles Sanders, you're going to start Sanders. You probably have him as an RB2. Should have a solid game here. Pass catchers, I like Devontae Smith and Zach Ertz. Those are the only two people that are worth streaming. Zach Ertz more if you're, questionable on tight end and need a start. Zach Ertz should get you some catches there. Love the upside with Devontae Smith. He should be able to have a nice game against this Atlanta defense. On the Atlanta side, love Matt Ryan against this Philly D. You're starting Matt. He's going to be a great streaming option. I love Mike Davis. He should be able to run all over this Philly defense, and hopefully he can sneak in the end zone. Love Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, and Kyle Pitts. I think they should all have great games. Really good options on the Atlanta passing side. Next matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills. A lot of streaming options and a lot of options on both sides of the ball here. For the Steelers, going to be a tough game for Big Ben, but if you're drafting, if Big Ben's your starter, you're probably going to roll him out. He should be able to just get some touchdowns here, but it's going to be a tough game. Love Najee Harris. It's going to be a tough defense for him, but he's going to get a lot of volume. Hopefully gets involved in the passing game a lot and can have a nice solid day. The pass catching options, it's very tough because you got a 3-headed monster with Juju, Deontay, and Claypool. I feel like you're going to probably play all of them because you drafted all of them in the top 100. So they're probably your wide receivers 2 or 3 or flex. So I don't hate all of those plays there. You're probably not going to start a tight end week 1 for the Steelers. It's going to be tough. You're going to pray that Eric Ebron or Pat Freiermouth can get in the end zone. Going to be tough. On the Bills, love Josh Allen. It's going to be a tough defense he's up against, but he's got to throw it. They have no running game. You're not starting the running backs there. Unless you're in a deep league, stay away from any running backs on the Bills. Starting Stephon Diggs. I like Cole Beasley as a flex. A lot of people aren't high on Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is a solid PPR machine. I feel like in a tough game like this, he's going to get a lot of short catches, and I feel like he could easily get 5 or 6 catches for 30, 40 yards. Maybe he sneaks in the touchdown. He's not going to be an amazing play, but he's going to get you points, and he'll be a solid flex option. That's pretty much all I'd start for the Bills there. The next matchup, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Detroit Lions. For the 49ers, maybe you start Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't love it. You probably have way better quarterback options. Love Raheem Mostert. I think he's going to run all over this Lions defense. Love George Kittle. You're going to start Kittle. Debo. And, I like Debo. Debo should be pretty solid. I'm not in love with the pass catchers for the 49ers. But I think Raheem Mostert's probably the best play for this Niners offense, and Kittle. And then the Lions side, I'm staying away from everybody. Maybe You're probably going to play Swift if he plays. That's it. It's Swift. I'm not playing anybody else. And the 49ers D, locking the 49ers D. It's going to be a tough game for this Lions offense. Next matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of good options on the Seahawks side. You're starting Russell Wilson, against this Colts D. It's going to be a tough defense he's up against, but going to be throwing a lot. Love Chris Carson. He's going to get the rock a lot, and hopefully he can get in the end zone. So you're probably starting Chris Carson as your RB2, and you're starting Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And I like Gerald Everett. I think he's a sleeper this week at tight end. They've never really had an athletic, tight end. So they got Gerald Everett. I think he should be solid. We'll see how he works in the offense, but I think he'd be a nice quality tight end this season for them. For the Colts, you're going to start Jonathan Taylor. And to me, that's really it, honestly. Maybe Naheem Hines in maybe a flex spot if you're desperate. But I think Jonathan Taylor's the only one you're here. You're probably not playing Carson Wentz. We don't know what he looks like. Yeah, that's probably going to be it for that matchup. All right, next matchup, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs. On the Cleveland side, you're starting Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, probably as a flex. Should have solid games against this Kansas City defense. As far as, really that's it for me. I don't know if I'm starting Jarvis Landry or Odell. Maybe you start Baker, but I just don't love those options. I feel like you have better options. Only starting the running backs on the Brown side. Then for the Chiefs, you're starting Mahomes, Tyreek, Travis Kelce, and that's really it. Maybe you take a flyer or take a shot at the flex on McCole Hardman. We have no idea what he's going to look like in that number 2 role. I just feel like week 1, stick with the main guys. Don't do anything crazy. It's only week 1. I'm sure you guys drafted all of these guys. No need to be desperate in drafting. Maybe Hardman has value, but we're going to see. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if he does play, you're starting Clyde. Just monitor his status. Next matchup, we have the Denver Broncos versus the New York Giants. On the Broncos side, there's some options I like. I like Cortland Sutton. I do like Teddy Bridgewater in this matchup. The running backs, we don't know who's going to be, Melvin Gordon, maybe he's going to get a lot of work. Javonte Williams. I feel like stay away from both these two. We don't know what they're going to do week 1 unless you're desperate. But I really only like Cortland Sutton, maybe Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant if you really need to at tight end. On the Giants side, you're going to start Saquon. It looks like he is going to play, barring any setbacks. Just temper your expectations for Saquon. We don't know what he's going to do, how limited he's going to be. And that's really it. I'm not playing anyone from the Giants. How could you? Maybe you play Golladay if Golladay is good to go, but I just still don't like this matchup at all. I'm staying away from everybody on here pretty much. Next matchup, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the New Orleans Saints. Packers, pretty simple. You're going Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, and then you're going to go with the tight end Robert Tonyan, and that's it. You shouldn't be starting MVS or any other player on the Packers unless you're in a very 20-team league. That's literally it. Saints, I think you're going to start Jameis. If you started Jameis, I think it's a good streaming option too. When Jameis plays, he throws the ball a lot. Yes, he throws picks, but he does throw a lot of yards and touchdowns. Could be a good streaming option. Love Alvin Kamara. Going to be featured heavily in this offense. And that's really it. I think you can take a shot at the flex with Marquez Callaway. He should get a lot of volume. But that's it. There's no other players you're playing on the Saints. That's going to be it. Next matchup, we had the Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots. On the Miami side, I think the only person you're really going to play is going to be Myles Gaskin. It's not going to be pretty, but he should get some catches, be involved in the passing game, and have a decent day. Maybe he can get in the end zone. You're probably not playing any of these pass catchers for Miami. Mike Gesicki, if you're desperate at tight end, could provide some value, but that's really it. You're not starting Tua, no way. On the Patriots side, a lot of interesting options here. I think you're probably going to start Harris at running back here. He should have a nice day. but doesn't provide any catching upside at all. James White, I just feel like you can't start James White week 1 as a flex play. I just don't love it. Yeah, man. Maybe the tight ends are tough. Maybe you start Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. I have no idea what they're going to look like together. It's going to be tough to gauge when they're in a dual tight end situation. Then you got Nelson Aguilar and tough pass catching options there. I don't hate Nelson Aguilar maybe as a flex. But yeah, I'm not really going to start anybody. I just don't love this matchup for fantasy. For me, it's Myles Gaskin and the running backs. That's probably going to be it for me. And then Sunday Night Football, we have the Bears and Rams. You're going to start Allen Robinson and David Montgomery. That's it. You can't play anybody else. Expect low performance for Montgomery against that tough Rams defense. Don't start anyone else from this team. From the Rams, you're starting the Rams defense. They should have get a lot of sacks against Andy Dalton. Love Matthew Stafford. I love Matthew Stafford, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. They should have great games. Love Tyler Higbee. Darrell Henderson Jr. could have a nice game on the ground. Maybe Sony Michel is a flex. I don't know yet, but going to stick with those main options. Should have a lot of success for the Rams offense in this matchup. And then on Monday night, we have the Ravens and the Raiders. The Ravens, you're starting Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. And then Tyson Williams as the running back. We saw that all the running backs tearing their ACLs for the Ravens. Kind of crazy. Those are the only 3 people. Maybe you start Sammy Watkins. He's got to throw to somebody. He can't just throw it to Mark Andrews. But I feel like you're only starting those main 3 for the Ravens. And then the Raiders, you're starting Darren Waller. I don't know if I can start Derek Carr. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Carr here. Josh Jacobs is going to be tough against that Ravens defense. You're hoping he gets in the end zone. But I don't know if I'm playing any pass catchers for the Raiders here, especially in week 1. We just don't know. I think it's worth monitoring to see who ends up being the wide receiver 1 in this offense. Only play I'm really playing is Darren Waller. And that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck with your picks. And good luck with your fantasy teams. And I hope you guys win on Sunday. And I'll see you guys Monday. Have a good one.